75% of the fragrances I talk about is just for men. 25, or I would say about 20% is going to be unisex, and sometimes every now and then I trickle in some women's perfumes, about 5%. Today I want to focus just on the women's fragrances that I would personally recommend for the fall and the winter time. 12 fragrances, one honorable mention. Let's start off with the honorable mention being Tabahi by Junaid Perfumes. Ladies, if you like an animalistic, natural smelling oud fragrance, Indian oud, you're going to appreciate this one. It does have resemblances to something like Ombre Nomad, just a bit more feminine, and because of the fact that it emphasizes a little bit more so on the rose and the ambers. It seems like the oud being absolutely present is just kind of taking a back seat for the rose and the ambers to shine, giving it that feminine touch. It still is smoky, it still is high quality smelling, and the quality that you're getting of this fragrance is not even a fraction of the price for my Ombre Nomad. Ombre Nomad is a more, at least in the West, masculine style fragrance, and even this for the West would be considered slightly masculine leaning. So ladies, if you don't like the incensey, woody vibes of fragrances and animalistic, you're probably not going to dig this one, and because it's not the safest in the world, it's why it's only an honorable mention. I wore it not too long ago. It lasted pretty much the entire day. This is one that even my sister rocks as well, but mind you, we are into oud fragrances. In fact, one of my friends that smelled this off of me, by the way, he's white, or Italian I should say, bought a bottle for himself. So whatever it's worth, for whatever it's worth, that's what I think about Tabahi by Junaid Perfumes. As always, ladies and gentlemen, check the links down in the description for the lowest and authentic, most importantly, prices. Ultimately, get it wherever you can find it cheapest. So let's go ahead and get started with the bread and butter of the video. And it's going to be one of the first mentions, and it's Devotion. Yeah, oh my God, he's talking about Devotion. Yeah, there's a reason why this is a popular fragrance, because it works. It's vanilla and lemon. It kind of smells like a lemon pound cake. It's definitely got a little bit more interesting factors than most designer fragrances, which just smell like them all, but for the most part, that's exactly what it is. It's vanilla, lemon, pound cakey, and it's got like the whole panna cotta dessert vibe to it. A wearable dessert gourmand style fragrance with lemon. Yeah, perfect for the fall time. You can even transition this one into the winter time, and I do plan on picking up the Intense to see how well it stacks up and if it's going to be any more appropriate for the winter time. Let me know, ladies, down in the comment section how you feel about Devotion and whether or not you've gotten your nose on the Intense version. So I'll be honest with you, this is one that I personally wore it. It did lean a little bit too feminine, even for my taste. The orange flower was dosed up pretty highly, giving it that floral, almost indalic nature to the fragrance. However, the occasions, you could signature scent this for the fall and even dress it up. I would personally drool at the smell of this one. So you do have to enjoy the sweeter style fragrances, the more gourmandy aspects. But other than that, a great signature scent for the fall time. My two favorite ones from Kayali is going to be Vanilla and Cafe Oud. The only reason I haven't talked about this often is because of the fact that it wasn't appropriate for more seasons, but during the fall and the winter time, it's going to be fantastic. Vanilla is as simple as that. It's a very nice and rich vanilla fragrance that you can rock every single day. It doesn't have too much of a cloying factor. It's not too sweet. It's not doused heavily. It's not like this syrupy vanilla. It has a little bit of a powdery aspect to it, coming from some of the florals at the top, and also brown sugar. So an easier to wear, lighter take on a vanilla fragrance that you can signature scent. The Cafe Oud, this is where you're starting to get more into like this coffee, ambery, and even woody in the dry down. I don't really get anything animalistic, but what I get is like this perfect combination of like day and night. This one being more appropriate, the Cafe Oud, for date night style fragrances. It is richer, it's a little bit more acidic, as you would come to think with black coffee, but it smells really good and it works. It also has a pretty decent dose of rose as well, contributing to the whole premature rose petals, basically. Simple as that. Rose and black coffee. The rose acidity to it is what's giving it that black coffee, but it's nicely contrasted with vanilla. It's got the note of cappuccino, geranium, musk, so a lot of notes, but what I get mostly is black cup of coffee with some rose and an undertone of vanilla. A great fragrance, and as a combination, it would be excellent. Now, I know it's two separate fragrances, but we're gonna just count them as one. In terms of the longevity for both of these, I would say that they're pretty, slightly above average. It's like 6 to 7 hours, but for whatever it's worth, that's a full day's worth of work, unless you're working like 12-hour shift. Next one is a lot of fruits and sweets. It's got tonka bean, vanilla, and pear. It's called La Belle Parfum. I think it's very sexy, but it can be too strong for some of you women out there. So make sure you like sweet, because that's exactly what it is. Very ambery, rich. I don't want to call it syrupy, but it's absolutely a sweet fragrance. Sweet, fruity, flirty, playful. It's not that complex of a fragrance, but because of how rich it is, it's attention grabbing. Everybody will smell you. But because of that as well, it does decrease it in terms of versatility. So ladies, I would personally reserve this one for special events or dates where you just want to literally like overdose people in your scent profile, and that's pretty much it. Next up, Menthol's Crazy in Love. And I am pretty in love with this scent profile. I do find that it's relatively unisex, but it does have more feminine traits to it because its center is going to be, or its focus is going to be on the saffron, the rose, brown sugar, and vanilla. And what it actually reminds me of is Arabian's Tonka by the same brand. However, Arabian's Tonka utilizes a note of oud. It does give it a bit more of this rugged, masculine, woody nature. This removes that. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's completely feminine, but it does lean towards that territory. It gives me like this very elegant and sophisticated rose fragrance with that spiced saffron, essentially is what it is. The sugar is nice, it's very diffusive, it doesn't go ambery and sweet syrupy. However, it does start to warm up as it dries down. Ladies, if you like rose saffron combos, maybe even rose saffron oud, this is a different take on that minus the oud. It's a beautiful fragrance that smells pretty damn expensive. Generally speaking, Menthol fragrances you can find on discounters, check the links in the description, for like less than $100. So at that price point, it's absolutely worthy of checking out. And also, if you have a Neiman's near you, you can just go and sniff this one. In terms of the performance, it'll linger on clothing all freaking day, and the occasion's gonna be special events. You're hanging out with your girls, or during the fall time, it's gonna be one of the best projecting, and it's relatively light in what it's projecting, not necessarily going too sweet like you'll think with a lot of winter, syrupy, comforting, warm fragrances. One of the best saffron rose fragrances in my collection. Moving on to the next one, this is also gonna shine the best during the fall and the winter time, but I think the fall is really gonna be where it's the best. It's called Tom Ford's Cherry Smoke. This takes that, signature cherry DNA and adds a sandalwood, a powdery sandalwood, and incense. I think it's very sexy. It kind of turns the cherry fragrance rather from this playful cherry into a more seductive, nighttime, alluring scent profile. I find this one to be the most unisex of them all, and as a man, it's the one that I would personally lean towards the most to wear for myself. And if a woman were to wear this during the fall and winter time, I would be more likely to approach. The Electric Cherry is a really nice one. I find that one to be a fresher take. It's more for the summertime, but if I had to pick one for the fall and the winter, if you like the note of cherry, get your nose on Cherry Smoke. It truly does develop into this powdery sandalwood, a little bit of incense, and that cherry vibe never goes away. It also lasts pretty much all day. I get about 9 to 10 hours. The projection for the first 2 hours is like the best. It's gonna give you a scent bubble, and then after that, you're gonna have to like really get wafts here and there. Not really dig in, but you'll be getting wafts relatively closer, a closer scent profile. The season is going to shine the best is going to be for this list, the fall and the winter time. It is a little bit pricey, but you can find this sometimes on discounters for like $1.80. It really depends on how you feel about the cherry fragrance DNA from Tom Ford. But one thing that's consistent with all of these is the quality. And if you like this list and you want to find fragrances that smell alike and all that good stuff for cheaper, or you're looking forward to a cheaper version of this list, make sure to subscribe, ladies, so you don't miss that video. A couple of these you'll see again because I love them. And a lot of these actually work all year round. So these little high heel boots, they're sexy as hell. I would say that the pink one, the blush, is going to be a more youthful take. It's muskier, it's a little bit playful, more gummy bear territory, coming from that lychee, a lot of those fruits. It is sweet, but it's a beautiful scent profile that you can wear every single day. The red one, which is Very Good Girl, now this is a scent profile that utilizes the same vibe basically, but it makes it a lot sexier. There isn't so much this musk, it doesn't go towards the lighter side of things. It makes it much more of this ambery, closer encounter, sweet, sexy fragrance. Sweet, fruity, sexy, a little bit of vanilla and woods in the dry down, more so vetiver. So yes, I know every woman and their mother has this fragrance, but it still works, it still smells great, and it's deserving of a compliment over almost every single time. In fact, I know somebody who wears the original, even the very original Good Girl, and that's also a compliment-worthy fragrance. That could be a signature scent. These are not like the most unique in the world, sure, but they still smell great. The quality of the fragrance is also excellent. If I had to personally say like the best value for money, I would say blush, just because of the fact that you can wear this literally all year round. I didn't really care too much for the blush elixir because they started to include a little bit of this ylang ylang. That threw it off for me. But both of these will last. I would say that the Very Good Girl will last a little bit longer. If you like a richer scent profile that you can wear to dates and special events, go for Very Good Girl. If you like something that's easier, inoffensive, and wearing it, although it's not offensive, but if you want something you can wear on a daily basis that's also sexy, I would say get the blush. Nevertheless, both of these are excellent fragrances. Anytime I smell them, it's like the first time I'm smelling them again. Product Paradox, the original, is the best flanker of all of them, at least to me. And there's a couple of factors why. Its versatility, its mass appeal, it's compliment worthy. It smells clean. It's got a cosmetic vibe that's very feminine to me. A nice fruity touch at the top that's very fresh. It doesn't go towards the ambery or vanillic side of things. In fact, it kind of goes towards more so this cosmetic and almost fabric softener vibes. There are a lot of florals in the mid, like orange flower, neroli, and also dries down into something that's musky, vanillic, warm, inviting, and ambery. That's the best way I could describe this one. It almost has like this cosmetic, powdery, I wouldn't want to say lipstick vibe, but maybe like foundation, etc. And that's the appealing factor, at least as a man. That's what's inviting to me. Growing up, you know, we're conditioned to think makeup, women. This smells like that in every good way. It also has all of those additional notes and accords that I mentioned earlier, like soft fabric softener that's really inviting as a man. In terms of the performance, this is one that has been reported to give average to above average. This isn't necessarily one that I personally would wear, obviously. It's just a little bit too feminine for my taste, but I think that that's what makes it even sexy. Occasions could be signature scent, it could be to a date. I wouldn't necessarily say special occasions. It doesn't necessarily have anything that's like very popping or in your face, but as a signature for the fall time, it's gonna be outstanding. I think there might be better options for the winter, but the fall, it'll absolutely work, just like this next fragrance, which I have talked about frequently because it's in my top 10 for women of all time. It's called Musk Noir Rose by Narciso Rodriguez. The fall and the springtime is where this one shines, but I think absolutely the best is going to be during the fall time. It's also got this cosmetic vibe that smells like rose, musk, and maybe just a hint or undertone of vanilla. It's nothing that's sweet, sickly, or anything like that, but more so towards the musk and the rose, powdery. Sexy, simple, and that's it. It's got plum, it's got musk, tuberose, and that vanilla. There isn't anything that's really dominating, but I would say for the most part, the heart of the fragrance is going to be that vanilla musk. And it smells clean and something you could wear every single day, including to a date during the fall time. Sweeter and more intense than Dolce & Gabbana Devotion, but I would say in the same family. This is called Xerjoff's Lira, part of the Casa Morati line. This will not go anywhere. That's the first thing I want to say. Like, in terms of longevity, this shit is eternal. But what this smells like is a lemon pound cake as well. Quite a few different notes, and in fact, it does have a more ambery base and less floral of a vibe than Devotion, making it less versatile, if you will. And also allowing this one to be more appropriate for the fall and the wintertime transitioning. It's got blood orange, a little bit of lavender, licorice. It also has cinnamon and a hefty dose of that vanilla and caramel. So what this really utilizes is just a citrus pound cake style vibe rather than lemon. But at least to my nose, what I get is a more spiced version of that very similar lemon pound cake. There aren't really too many florals in this fragrance as well, making it a bit thicker, and the only floral that this one gets is going to be that jasmine, which also contributes a honeysuckle-like undertone. So a bit thicker, but still relatively lighter and easier to wear, and more spiced version of something like Devotion. Well, this actually came out first, but I wouldn't necessarily call these clones or dupes or anything like that, but definitely in the same realm. If you want a stronger, longer lasting, and more stand-out style fragrance, Lira is an excellent one that I have personally rocked myself. I find it to be unisex, slightly leaning towards the feminine side of things, and the unisex aspects, or what redeems it or towards that realm, is going to be some of those spices. Moving on to the next one, this is from Arabian Oud, and it's called Tartil Silver. It's a vanilla, powdery vanilla-based fragrance that captures its powdery aspects from sandalwood and cedarwood. It's also got the note of pear and maybe even a little bit of lotus, this floral that contributes a nice light and watery softness to it. This, in combination with some other florals like jasmine and musk, make this somewhat of a lighter vanilla powder fragrance. It doesn't necessarily go towards the ambery side of things, and it makes it easier to wear and increases the versatility. Pear, jasmine, lotus, a little bit of woods, these technically, or typically I should say, go towards the feminine nature or side of things. But those woods, like cedarwood and sandalwood and amber, does redeem it and place it a little bit more appropriately towards the unisex side of things. Regardless of the fact, it's a very beautiful vanilla fragrance that I think is genderless. It also lasts a solid 8 to 9 hours, and the projection is pretty good. Back to the basic style fragrance, but the high quality nature of this one makes it absolutely worth the checkout. Arabian Oud has a track record for performing, and the quality of their scents are outstanding, and this is no different than that. You want a lighter take on a powdery vanilla? Ladies, check this one out. Last but not least, warning label comes with this one because of how sweet it is. It's called Xerjoff's Italica. This is also a part of the Casa Marati line. You're not getting this off of clothes until you wash it. And even after you wash it, it might still be there. Center focus of this fragrance is gonna be almond. So ladies, if you don't like that glazed vibe, you're probably not gonna like this. I personally don't like a lot of almond fragrances, but this is one that I can tolerate. And because of its combination with some saffron, there's also milk, so it's lactonic. It's got a hefty dose of vanilla and toffee, sandalwood, and white musk. Very sweet, nutty, almondy, lactonic, and syrupy. It's actually really good. I think the fact that it has some of the musk and saffron crushes it in terms of its projection. If you want to be noticed, if you want to make statements, both of these fragrances will do exactly that. The Italica or the Casa Marati line project, and they're both appropriate for like special events, occasions, and also going for dates. They're both perfumes that I would personally say, like if you want notice, you know, if you want that kind of attention, I would rock either one of these. The Tortil Silver is easier to rock every single day because of its ease to wear, but these two right here, special events, special occasions, holidays, Christmas, etc., all of these will work for the holidays actually, but more so, you know, statement making is going to be those Casa Maratis. There you have it, my top picks for the fall and the winter time. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe because about 60% of you are not subscribed. And in case you're wondering, my name is Nee and welcome back to AROMATIX. And dudes that stuck to the very end, you're a real one, and these are great recommendations to buy your significant other. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.